people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this, an update to a story I talked about in my previous video 2 days ago. Dan Rafael says the WBA has stripped Erica Cruz of the WBA Super Bantamweight title. She tested positive for 3 banned substances related to the May 11th draw versus Nazarena Romero on Matchroom's May 11th show in Mexico. Not 1, but 3. Up until this point, the only one we knew about was the Winstrol.
Apparently, she tested positive for 2 more banned substances.
Cruz's A sample was positive, but when she let pass the deadline to test the B sample, she was stripped.
This explains a lot.
A lot about Erica, and a lot about Erica's fight with Nazarena. Having seen Nazarena and Erica both in action for so long, it was just unusual to see how gun-shy and flustered Nazarena Romero was with Erica Cruz, as Nazarena lives in the exchange.
She does.
She loves to trade punches. That's what she does.
With Erica, she looked out of character, and I guess now we know why, because Erica had the added assistance of not 1, but 3 banned substances.
I'm not going to downplay the role of those 3 banned substances.
Like what people are trying to do with Ryan?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that for Erica. Not 1, but 3 banned substances? No wonder you were able to throw punches and bunches from the opening round to the final round, barrel forward.
How long has she been doing that?
You often hear it said that performance-enhancing drugs and banned substances won't make you a better boxer.
It's not going to add anything to your technique.
And it isn't. But in the case of Erica Cruz, who isn't big on technique anyway, she's not a finesse fighter, she's not a cerebral fighter, she's a physical fighter.
Physical advantages she went into this fight with as a result of ingesting 3 banned substances.
We don't know how long they're going to give her, how long her suspension is going to be for, but what we do know now is that the WBA title is vacant. And in all likelihood, Nazarena Romero will get a 3rd crack at the apple, as she is ranked at number 1, and former champion Mayerlin Rivas of Venezuela, she's ranked at number 2.
They'll likely order a rematch between them.
Now, in the first fight between Nazarena and Mayerlin, you could see that the pressure was getting to Mayerlin Rivas. You could see that the power...
She respected Nazarena Romero's power, tried to fight the fight on the fly.
It looked to me like round by round, Nazarena was coming closer and closer to stopping Mayerlin Rivas. In a rematch, I favor Nazarena Romero to win. I favor Nazarena to beat Mayerlin Rivas and become this division's newly crowned WBA champion. In a manner of speaking, the prediction stuck.
How so?
Ahead of the Erica Cruz fight, I picked Nazarena Romero to become WBA champion. I thought she would do it by beating Erica.
And that's not exactly what happened.
Though all the same, it's looking more and more like Nazarena Romero will become this division's newly crowned WBA champion, and I thought she would, just not in this fashion.
It's just a waiting game now, waiting for the WBA to order the fight.
That is, unless Matchroom acts upon this opportunity on behalf of Ellie Scottney.
Gatford.
You know what they could do?
What?
They could do a fight between Ellie Scottney and Nazarena Romero for Ellie's 2 belts and the newly vacated WBA title. Kinda like what they did years ago with Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko.
Gatford.
Anthony brought his IBF title to the table, and the newly vacated WBA title that Tyson Fury had just vacated, they added that
To the Klitschko fight.
So what if they have Ellie Scottney fight Nazarena Romero for the newly vacated WBA title, along with Ellie's IBF and WBO titles?
I could go for that.
Now, that would severely hamper Nazarena Romero's chances of becoming WBA champion if she has to go through Ellie Scottney to do it, because I'm not completely convinced Nazarena can beat Ellie. Quite honestly, I don't know that anybody at this weight can beat Ellie. You're gonna have to get Dina Thorsland or somebody to give Ellie a run for her money.
Two best fighters anywhere in between 118 and 122.
In any event, things are shaking, rattling, and rolling at 122 pounds, and we have to see what's going to happen with the WBA title. Are they going to order a fight between Nazarena Romero and Mayerlin Rivas, a rematch, or are they going to take a more nuanced approach? We'll see. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, is Bob Arum ready to lose soon-to-be free agent Shakur S. Stevenson ahead of Shakur S. Stevenson's next fight this weekend, which is going to be going head-to-head with the Golden Boy Promotions show?
The live gate will likely be over 700,000, which is good. He does have a following, but he's still not a pay-per-view attraction like Baltimore's champion Gervonta Davis. He's a free agent, like in basketball or the NFL. We've had a frank discussion about him testing the market. If you can make a better deal, by all means, take it. If you can't, we love you, come back, and we're happy to make fights for you. We would welcome him. No animosity at all. Free agency is free agency. And we have fulfilled our contracts.
Asked why Stevenson hasn't connected to the masses like Davis and Ryan Garcia have, Arum said,
Because people like fighters who win by knockout. Stevenson is not that kind of fighter. He's a brilliant technician who wins his fights by wide margins, not knockouts. It's the same reason Aaron Judge is more popular to baseball fans than a batting champion. Home runs sell.
In Shakur Stevenson's last fight, boos surrounded the Las Vegas arena and a lot of fans. They left early.
He understands. The day after the fight, Stevenson called me up to apologize. He's a very smart kid. He's no fool. He's aware.
Afterwards, Stevenson called out the consensus #1 lightweight title contender, William Zepeda. But Arum said Zepeda's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, never called to negotiate the bout, even though he left the impression he would be following Zepeda's destructive stoppage of Maxie Hughes in March. Instead, Stevenson fights Armenia's Artem Haratunian.
And William's going to be fighting Giovanni Cabrera.
Oscar understands fighting. Zepeda would be picked apart. Why risk a fight with Shakur when they have such a big investment in Zepeda? The problem with Shakur, for a guy like Zepeda, is he's difficult to beat, and there's not a lot of cash at the end of the rainbow.
High risk, low reward. That's how they view it.
I agree. Stevenson's a tremendous talent, but a lot of guys are tremendously talented. We don't lack in America for tremendous talents.
What Bob Arum is saying in so many words is that if Shakur Stevenson wants to go, he can go. Dip his toe in the pool, test the market out, see what he can get himself, and if he can't get a better deal than what Top Rank has to offer, the door is open for him to come back. It was pretty diplomatic. A lot more diplomatic between Bob and Shakur than what we saw between Bob and Terrence Crawford.
Bob is leaving the door open for their partnership to continue if Shakur Stevenson so chooses to continue it, where young Shakur is telling a very different story.
He's saying that Top Rank has stalled his career. He's blaming them.
You're blaming them because when you fight, people think you're boring. What exactly is Top Rank supposed to do about that?
Bob Arum is basically trying to say Top Rank or nothing, and basically trying to say that I don't have any other options but Top Rank, like go see the market and come back to us, Stevenson told Boxing Scene, adding that Arum is talking hot shit. I think Bob should just shut up because he's not even really running his own company.
Okay.
Stevenson said he won't rule out a return to Top Rank, even though the company has started negotiations for a fight between Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis, yet another opponent Stevenson desires. I'm still not seeing how it is that Top Rank supposedly stalled his career when the only reason anybody even knows who he is, in spite of his boring base style, is because of Top Rank. Top Rank can also present Shakur Stevenson with fights against recently crowned WBO champion Denis Berenchik, ascending undefeated lightweight contender Raymond Muratalla, and Teofimo Lopez at 140, among others. I don't know. I don't count anything out. It's business at the end of the day, said Stevenson. The same way Top Rank looks at it as the same way I look at it. If the business makes sense, then yeah. If the business doesn't make sense, then there is no point. I know my worth and understand it. I'm not a kid anymore. At 19 years old coming out of the Olympics, I am more so a grown man now that in years to come is going to end up as one of the most legendary and best fighters to ever do it. And that's my worth.
We'll see.
Stevenson officially entered the lightweight division in April of last year and scored a stoppage win against Shuichiro Yoshino before beating De Los Santos. Yeah, I was pleased up to how I started getting bigger, like as far as notoriety. In that process, we're doing good, said Stevenson. Once I got to 135, everything kind of slowed down. I feel as though Top Rank could have given me the Kambosos fight like they gave it to Lomachenko, but they didn't do that.
What is it that he doesn't understand? Top Rank can't force George to take that fight.
I felt that we could have put a little bit more pressure on Lomachenko to make the fight happen, but they didn't do that.
Do you think that Top Rank can hold Vasyl Lomachenko or any other fighter at gunpoint and force them to fight you?
So when I got to 135, my notoriety got bigger, and then things changed.
The fighters are bullheaded and egotistical.
Now, this is a part of the reason that I'm not big on pursuing interviews and relying on fighter access or access to teams in order to create content. Because a lot of content creators that rely on interviews, they're not at liberty to say that.
Not without damaging their professional relationships, whereas I can.
I can say wholeheartedly that the fighters, Shakur Stevenson among them, are bullheaded and egotistical. Stevenson is adamant that his time will come, and he's willing to bet on himself as he promises a superstar performance against Haratunafish. The build-up has been cool, said Stevenson. Honestly, I've been enjoying training camp, bettering my skills and conditioning, and just being 100% of myself. I am coming in here as sharp as ever and in shape. I'm ready and I can't wait for Saturday. I ain't looking to prove nothing to nobody.
Well, that's the wrong attitude.
I am looking to prove things to myself. I just want to show what 100% of myself can give.
It's like when some girls say that they don't wear makeup or wear sexy clothing for others. They wear it for themselves.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You wear it because you know what kind of reactions it will elicit and what kind of treatment, what kind of perks it's going to get you.
Then you post those images online for the approval of others.
Other people, because if it were just about you, you wouldn't upload them at all.
So when you're fighting in front of a large audience, when you're fighting on a major platform, yeah, you can say you ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody.
But it's bullshit.
You absolutely have something to prove to everybody that you can be an entertaining fighter. You can be better than you were when last we saw you. Because when last we saw you, you literally got booed for 36 minutes. And that ain't Top Rank's fault.
What, you're fighting on television because you ain't got nothing to prove in front of all these people and the millions watching at home?
Why don't you cut the fucking crap? Top Rank didn't stall your career.
Top Rank can't force Isaac Cruz, William Zepeda, George Kambosos, Vasyl Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis. They can't force those guys to fight you. What are you not understanding?
And if you want to provide an incentive for the fighters at or around these weights to want to fight you, you need to appeal to a bigger audience.
It's reality.
People don't want to fight Canelo Alvarez because they really want to test themselves and see how good they are. They want to fight Canelo because they know he appeals to a huge audience that makes for a huge purse.
If not for that, they wouldn't want to fight him.
So let's just stop being coy and stop being naive. The nature of your problem is you're not appealing to enough people with the way you fight.
So change it.
Finally, in men's cruiserweight news, the WBA have ordered Zurdo Ramirez to defend his title against former champion Uniel Dorticos.
El que doctor.
Teams have until July 31st to reach a deal, otherwise a purse bid will be called. To my knowledge, Uniel Dorticos is not with a major promotional outfit, so if anybody places a bid in to do this fight, it would likely be Golden Boy.
It's a good fight, but it's not exactly a hot ticket.
Marquee-wise, it isn't. Uniel Dorticos sports a professional record, 27 wins with 2 losses, no draws, 25 knockouts, having been knocked out once, just once, in 29 professional bouts. He's 38 years old. To Zurdo Ramirez, who's 33.
Sporting a professional record of 46 wins with 1 loss, no draws, 30 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 47 professional bouts. 47. That's close to 50.
Uniel Dorticos, the KO doctor, as they call him, he could change that. He has the kind of stopping power that Zurdo Ramirez has not yet encountered as a cruiserweight. Lest we forget, he's only really been up there his last 2 fights.
Well, his cruiserweight campaign, his official cruiserweight campaign, kicked off 2 fights ago, but I can recall Zurdo fighting as a cruiserweight at least once before that.
Though in none of those instances did he ever encounter a puncher of Uniel Dorticos' quality and caliber. That Uniel Dorticos, he does have his limitations, but if he lands, he can do a lot of damage very quickly. So this fight, this order, is the byproduct of Zurdo Ramirez getting the title shot that was supposed to go to Uniel Dorticos. You see, late last year, in October, back when Arsene Goulamarian was still WBA champion, an order came down for him to fight Uniel Dorticos. And for one reason or another, the fight between them didn't materialize. It didn't happen. Nobody was stripped. Nobody paid any penalties or consequences. The order came and went,
And nothing happened.
Next thing you know, Arsene Goulamarian is quite voluntarily defending his WBA title against Zurdo Ramirez, who beat him for it in lopsided fashion and won a decision. And it was a good showing, a very good showing for Zurdo Ramirez, though I will say that Arsene Goulamarian never had the stopping power of a Uniel Dorticos.
Ever.
Uniel hasn't been that active in the last 2 or 3 years or so. He only fought once in 2022, didn't fight at all in 2023, but he did fight once earlier this year.
In June, stopped Alan Campa in the first round.
It's good and bad when you think about it. Stopping Allen in the first round means that Uniel still has the same stopping power we saw in the World Boxing Super Series. He still has it, but it also means that in the last year or so, this guy's only fought for 1 round. Just 1 round.
And he's 38 years old.
So Uniel would be going into this fight with some drawbacks, along with his lack of variety, that outside of the straight 1-2, he doesn't show much in terms of variety in his combinations and his arsenal. He's very strong, and if he can land, he can do a lot of damage.
But he is predictable, and he ain't got much in terms of inside game. That's how Murat Gassiev beat him. That's where Murat Gassiev beat him. Mid-range to inside. Zurdo is a talented inside fighter.
More than that now that he's added some other tools to his arsenal, though he may have to return to his roots for this fight, crowding Uniel Dorticos and smothering him, not giving him room to get the arm out. That's how he can win.
Mid-range to inside fighting, combination punching. He has to be careful not to get caught on the way in.
But that's the risk everybody runs when they face Uniel Dorticos. I like this fight. It's not a high-profile fight, but it is intriguing.